There's a guy named Anthony that I knew back in high school who died on Easter not too long ago, right? What do you do with that? He's a young guy. He was like 30. Just a couple years older than me, and now he's gone. What do I do with that? Happy Thursday, everybody. It's Ptony, your friendly Catholic vlogger. I tell you what, it was a weird Easter week. Having a friend die on Easter Sunday. I didn't know Anthony terribly well. I lived with him for about a year. I was in a priest school for 9th grade and on for another 7 years, starting in 9th grade. And my first year at this school, while I was in 9th grade, he was a senior. It was a small school. We were about 30 people. And so freshmen and seniors interacted with each other more than the most high schools. Anthony's one of those guys that just radiates joy. I think my parents met him once, and just a couple weeks ago, he came up in conversation. We were just reminiscing about life back in the day. And, who was that one guy? Oh, that was Anthony Freeman. We did a school play every year. Mother's Day weekend, end of the year, was always a big weekend where we invited all of our families to come see the school, and we would host them and do all sorts of things. One of those things was a school play. That specific year, the play was Macbeth. I was one of the weird sisters. He was Lady Macbeth. After the play, one of the parents asked Anthony how he managed to keep such a stunning feminine figure. But after that year, we never were in the same community again. So my memories of Anthony, for the most part, like I saw glimpses of him in different places and on social media since then. But for the most part, my interactions with Anthony ended in 2005. In 2011, I left preschool. Anthony was going all the way. He was scheduled to be ordained a deacon this summer. And, well, that's not going to happen. He's passed away. Anthony's a great guy. He's the sort of guy that makes a profound impact on people just by his simple joy. I have strong memories of this guy all the way back from 2004. And he was just a senior in high school. He's grown as a person since then. He's grown in his love for God, I'm sure. He's had tremendous impact on so many people. And I'm just one small person. I think the hardest part for me was seeing other brothers that I had back when I was in preschool that have continued their studies, that are continuing to move towards priesthood. And so they were, a little bit more in Anthony's circle for these past 10 years or so. It's really a strange experience. I was studying to be a priest with the Legionaries of Christ, and I freaking love the Legionaries. They're so great. So much of who I am and how I think is very much formed by the values that the Legionaries taught me. And I love the values that they've taught me. I'll forever be grateful and indebted to them for that. In fact, when I left the Legionaries, it was never because I was at odds with the Legion. I felt at home there. In some ways, I think I felt more at home in my years in the Legion than I've ever felt since then. I kind of have a restless spirit, and I'm searching and I'm wandering. But with the Legionaries, imagine living in a community with 100 or 200 other guys that all have fundamentally parallel value structures. Think about things in parallel and complementary ways. We were all chasing the same things together. It's impossible to create something like that anywhere else. Well, maybe it's not impossible, but it's not something I've ever found anywhere else. So now it's crazy strange to see the brothers that I was with during those years for so long. That were much closer to Anthony when he died. Seeing all the Facebook posts, and there was a YouTube video and the Instagram, and The posts have died down a little bit by now, but there were three main things that came up again and again when people were talking about Anthony. The first was how much Anthony obviously loved God. The second was how much he cared about people around him and treated people around him well and made them smile and happy. And the third was how he always had ideas of things that he could do to further the kingdom, right? To spread the gospel, to bring Christ into people's lives in a personal way. He just had zeal, passion. I don't know why, death. Trying to figure out why somebody dies on a spiritual level, that's not my place. But me personally, you don't have to agree with me on this, but I think he's in heaven, and I've prayed to him already. And I've asked, hey, Anthony, loving God, caring about people, and being on fire to do things for God. Can you teach me that? I kind of suck at all three of those things. Those are three things that I try to do, and sometimes I do well, but a lot of times I really fall short. Can you teach me? I'm a super legalistic person, so of course I ended that prayer by saying, and God, if he's not actually in heaven yet, well, I send prayers so that he can rest in peace forever. But it's strange. It's just strange to process some of those things. It touches on so many things that are both close and distant in my life. And all I can do is ponder and trust God and pray. There's a lot of people that were a lot closer to Anthony. And I send prayers their way. Please pray for anybody who is struggling to process all this and doesn't know what to do with it and simply misses Anthony because he touched a lot of people. Please offer up a prayer or two for them. I'd like to thank my patrons for making these videos possible. Especially today, I'd like to thank Shoeless Joe again. That's who I picked last time. All right, well, Joe, you just have a lucky draw. Also, I'm thinking I'm going to start highlighting comments. This week, I'd like to highlight this comment from Alexis Flores. I like lists. Yeah, I like lists too. I forgot how much I like lists. I might start experimenting with making list videos. Like quality ones, not the cheesy, crappy ones that you find on YouTube sometimes. If you want to support me on Patreon and believe in what I'm doing enough that you'd buy me a cup of coffee once a month, please check out my Patreon. And also here's another video you can watch that YouTube thinks you'll like, according to algorithm magic. I love algorithms. Y'all are lovely. Thanks for tuning in. Keep Anthony and his friends and family in your prayers. God bless and ciao.